Hi everyone, I'm Meteorologist Rusty McCranie, and welcome to Weather Express. Your weather in 5 minutes. Start the clock. Friends, we're going to have a fast-moving storm system that'll race across the northern tier of the United States. We also have our first spring severe weather setup in the coming days we'll talk about as well. Right now, you're looking at current temperatures across the country, which are way above average in most areas. Bit of active weather today in portions of the Great Lakes and the Northeast. We'll start off there. I'm going to zoom into the northern sides and the western sides of New York, and I want you to notice something unusual. Those are temperatures that are above freezing. As a matter of fact, as the rain moves in, the weather is actually warming up in Buffalo. We're not even near freezing, so forget the frozen precipitation. This is all going to be the liquid form here in the western sides of New York. Despite the calendar, it's rain rather than snow, and that's a good chunk of Michigan that's also seeing liquid rather than frozen precip. Now, we are getting some northerly winds moving back into the UP of Michigan at the hour towards Marquette, and that is going to turn into some snow, and it's going to be flying. There are some winter storm warnings for the UP of Michigan, but a very confined area, and I'll show you that coming up in just a second. Man, you want some gorgeous weather today? That's going to be in the southeast. Not only is it sunny, temperatures are in the 70s at the hour right now, and we also have some very comfortable conditions out there. When I put on these dew points, you can look at dew points in the 20s and 30s right on through central Florida. That's an indication of the amount of moisture in the atmosphere. These low numbers mean that the air is absolutely bone dry, so it's really comfortable outside the southeast and no threat for rain in the next few days. It's actually kind of warm in the southern plains for today. Places like Oklahoma City and Dallas, mid and upper 70s. Even portions of Kansas were into the 60s for today. A little bit cooler in portions of the northern plains and into the western Great Lakes, but the bigger story is the wind, which is gusting right now 30, 40, and even 50 plus miles an hour with the warm conditions and the dry weather as well. Big time fire danger threat in these areas, so please keep that in mind. Exceptionally warm out west as well. Denver today well above 60 for a daytime high. It's obviously going to be location dependent and elevation dependent, but along the west coast for today, some exceptionally warm weather. There is a developing storm system off the west coast. It's going to take a couple days to get here, but once it does, that is going to be an impactful storm with some heavy rain along the coastline and more mountain snow for Sierra Nevadas and Cascades. So at the hour, the advisories that are in play for across the United States, mainly these pinks are red flag warnings. That's a fire danger threat, again, for portions of the plains in the Midwest, bracketed by wind advisories for portions of the Ohio Valley, Midwest, into even the Carolinas right now, where they have fire weather watches, because again, at the hour, things are pretty dry across the country. But there's going to be some changes coming. We'll look at the HRRR model to begin with. You can see our fast-moving storm system scraping across upstate New York. Generally speaking, even through central New York, portions of Massachusetts and Boston, that's still some rain. There'll be some snow for northern Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine, but it's such a fast-moving system, not expecting to be a lot of showers. The dry weather will continue across the plains, and again, the elevated fire threat. Over the next couple of days, we're going to be watching this storm system slamming on, and again, big time impactful weather there. Heavy coastal rain, potentially some flooding, and again, some extreme mountain snow in some of the higher elevations. So I'll keep an eye out for that as well. Also going to see a little bit of rain well off to the south, but the bigger story in this part of the country is going to be the opportunity for some severe weather down the road. So I'm going to show you the risk for severe storms starting here in 3 days. We're going to have some generalized thunderstorms in portions of the central plains, but as we get into early to mid next week, when I look at the opportunity for severe weather here in the Arklatex region through portions of the western side of the Tennessee Valley, we already have some significant signs that we could have our first severe weather outbreak here. This would include places like Memphis, towards Little Rock, and even the northern sides of Louisiana, Shreveport, and Alexandria. Already that 30% ring in all modes of severe weather possible in this area. So it's kind of our first look at the potential for a spring severe weather setup where tornadoes could be a significant threat. I'll be monitoring that situation, and then the day after that, actually, the severe weather risk will slip off towards the East Coast, all the way towards the Delmarva Peninsula, back into the panhandle of Florida. That will be the next area to have to monitor that situation. When we look at temperatures here across the United States, actually here over the next 6 to 10 days, cooler than normal weather in the southeast. There's your warm, dry conditions with the fire threat and the snow melt for big sky country in the plains all the way back down deep into Texas. Precip outlook looks like this. Again, relatively wet in the southeast. There's your storm system out west is going to continue to bring some wet weather and then dry through the heart of the country. But again, the big story is that we're going to be turning some of this cooler weather into warmer weather initially, and then the spring severe setup to be monitoring as well. Friends, as you can see, I'm out of time. I really appreciate you doing a quick favor and liking this video. And if you enjoy this content, thank you for considering to subscribe to Weather Express. It's a daily 5-minute forecast across the country. And I am back tomorrow with your latest 5-minute forecast.